a park bench painted red, the unsettling knife-like chill of fall draining to winter. Amos Decker sat on the bench, waiting. A sparrow zipped across in front of him, narrowly dodged a passing car before soaring upward, catching a breeze and drifting away. He noted the make, model, plate number, and physical descriptions of all in the car before it left him. Husband and wife in the front, and a kid in the back in a booster seat. Another one next to him, older, about 10. The rear bumper had a sticker. It read, "My kid is an honor roll student at Thorncrest Elementary. Congrats. You just told a psycho exactly where to snatch your very smart kid." Then a bus rolled to a near stop. He ran his gaze over it, making the same observations. 14 passengers, most looking depressed and tired, though it was still only midday. One was energetic, a child. He bebopped next to his exhausted mother, who sat slumped over, a fat bag perched in her lap. The driver was a newbie, her face a sheet of nervousness. Even with the power steering, she fought the wheel and took the next turn so slowly it looked like the bus's engine had died. A plane soared overhead, low enough for him to ID it as the United 737, a later model because of the winglets. With the number 737, for him the color silver popped out. The number 737 was, in his mind, a beautiful concoction, sleek, silver, fast, bullet-like. Anything beginning with a 7 gave him that reaction. He appreciated that Boeing numbered all its aircraft beginning with 7. 2 young men walked past, observed, recorded. One was older, bigger, the alpha. The other was the sidekick, only there for laughs and to push around. Then he noted the 4 kids playing in the park across the street. Age, rank, serial number, pecking order, and hierarchy established before age 6 like a pack of wolves. Done. Next, a woman with a dog, a German shepherd. Not that old, but with bad hips. Probably dysplasia, common in the breed. Catalogued. A man jabbering away on his smartphone. Xenia suit. The G for Gucci on the slick shoes. Quarter-sized rock, set in a gold band on his left hand, like a Super Bowl ring. $4,000 Zenith watch on his right wrist. He was too small and the wrong build for a pro athlete. Dressed far too nicely for a typical drug dealer. Maybe a hedge fund manager, malpractice lawyer, or real estate developer. Memory socked away. On the other side of the street, an old woman in a wheelchair was being rolled out of a medical transport van. Her left side was useless, facial paralysis on the same side, stroke, documented. Her caregiver had mild scoliosis with a club foot, imprinted. Amos Decker noted all this and more as his mind sorted through everything that was in front of him. Deducing here and there, speculating sometimes, guessing other times. None of it meant anything other than it was just what he did to pass the time while he was waiting. Just like counting in color. Just what he did to pass the time. He had lost the house to foreclosure. They were barely making the payments with his and Cassie's salary. On his paycheck alone, it was a no-go. He had tried to sell it, but who wanted to live in a house covered in blood? He lived in an apartment for several months, then a motel room. Then, when his job situation changed, he had relocated to a friend's couch. After the friend became less friendly, he had opted for a homeless shelter. When funding ran out for the place and it was closed, he downsized to a sleeping bag in the park, then a cardboard box in a parking lot when the sleeping bag wore out and the cops rousted the homeless from the park. He had hit rock bottom. Bloated, dirty, wild-haired, bushy-bearded. He looked like he should be living in a cave somewhere, attempting to conspire with aliens. And he pretty much was until he woke up in a Walmart parking lot one morning, staring at a Georgia Pacific logo on the inside of his corrugated box and had the churning epiphany that Cassie and Molly would have been deeply ashamed of what he had become. So he had cleaned himself up, worked a bunch of odd jobs, saved some dollars, and moved into a room at the Residence Inn and hung out his PI shingle. He took whatever cases came his way. They were mostly low-ball, low-pay, but they were something, and he didn't need more than something. It was a meaningless existence, really, just like he was. Meaningless. His beard was still bushy, his hair still pretty wild, and he was still way overweight. But his clothes were reasonably clean, and he showered sometimes more than twice a week. And he no longer lived in a box. In his mind, progress was always to be measured in inches, especially when you didn't have yards or even feet of success to show off.